Yeah, that's right. I think I've read for the time that Trump is the most indicted president in history. This is the fourth indictment charge that he faces, and as you say, 91 felony counts in addition to those 13 that we saw passed down today for the former president, which joins a broader indictment charge of 41 felony charges across 19 defendants. So this fourth case is certainly, yeah, adding extra pressure on the president ahead of the election next year.
It feels like this one is very different. There's charges of racketeering, election meddling, soliciting a violation of oaths. How do you think this stacks up against the others, which you've looked at in quite a lot of detail?
Yeah, this is certainly a more sweeping case than the other indictments that we've seen. It traverses across 7 different states. And as I mentioned, those 19 defense, which I think is really sets this case apart. The fact that Trump is not alone in this indictment, he faces charges alongside several of his allies like Giuliani, John Eastman, several names that we've heard crop up again and again. And this is also another case in the fact that it's been prosecuted at a state level, not just a federal level. This fourth indictment charge, it's certainly sweeping, it's certainly expansive, and it's going to follow Trump around for quite a long time. We've heard we want a 6-month trial. Fannie Willis, the district attorney overseeing the case, has argued for a 6-month trial, although it could take much longer. So seeing how this case will coincide and overlap with the other cases will be certainly interesting.
Yeah. The case of racketeering is a non-negotiable one, really, in Georgia, because it comes under RICO, which is a tricky one. It's almost, if he's found guilty, it's an absolute jail term and not something that he could pardon himself for should he become president again.
That's exactly right, because it's prosecuted on a state level. The president nor the governor of Georgia can actually pardon Donald Trump if he is found guilty of charges. Certainly something that Trump's legal team is already setting in motion, trying to move this case from the state-based level onto a federal level. We saw the Trump team try a similar play with the New York case in Manhattan unsuccessfully just last month. And it's something that the Trump team is already talking about to enable that kind of presidential pardon, full of other advances for Trump around that time. But yeah, as you say, this is a racketeering charge. This is something that the district attorney who brought the cases actually kind of made her reputation on since she came to the district attorney's office in 2021. You know, she's prosecuted mobsters and rappers along these racketeering charges. It does is it groups together the 161 criminal charges across these 19 defendants and puts them in one bucket and calls them racketeering, calls this group of 19 defendants a criminal enterprise, that Trump was not alone in his conspiracy to hold on to power after the 2020 presidential election.
So she said she wants to try all of these 19 co-conspirators together. She's also given them, you know, a week or so to surrender themselves. Would there be some chance? Is there an opening for some of these to flip on the former president?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the legalities of it, but I do believe that there is some where some of these 9 defendants could enter plea deals to try and sort of lessen their sentencing. But as you mentioned, there is a minimum mandatory sentence for a racketeering charge. And as we've said, 19 being grouped together, and there's an additional 30 that were unnamed in the indictment who haven't yet been indicted, but certainly aided the interesting to see kind of what happens as this trial unfolds.
And timing, you talked about a 6-month trial. We know he's still the leading Republican candidate. This is just going to feed directly into the election. This could be very messy for any kind of election timeline.
Yeah, that's right. Trump is facing about 6 trials before May, which is about the time that the Republican National Convention is likely to nominate that Republican candidate ahead of the 2024 presidential election. So if Donald Trump, you know, maintains his leadership of the party as he has been, he leads the next closest candidate by 37 percentage points. He has an absolute grip hold on the Republican Party, and 71% of Republican primary voters think Trump hasn't committed any crimes. So his ability to withstand these indictments and actually use them for his advantages is quite profound. We've seen small dollar donators go up in this particular case and then the 3 cases that came before it. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he juggles the campaign. But at this stage, it doesn't seem a vying for the White House again next year.
Yeah, indeed. Great to talk, Victoria. Thanks for your time.